Hello everyone, we are back with Great Ace Attorney 2. I was just changing the scene to the next place we were gonna head off, and now apparently this is happening. Freaking... Okay, I guess... Yeah. Yo, Professor, should we come back later, or... What's he doing? He's... Oh my, the whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations. Where did he even get chalk? He's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Mr. Naruhodo. And who is this young lady? You saw her in court yesterday. My name is Asano Mikatoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear. I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you. I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. Oh no. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair. It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot. Professor Hairbrain. What have you been working on in your cell? Probably his next hypothesis. Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had to hand. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, actually, this is my autobiography. Your autobiography? Why is your autobiography a frickin' mathematical equations? How I was diddled and fiddled by Albert Hairbrain. You know, I just realized his first name's Albert. That's a pun on Albert Einstein, isn't it? I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations. Really? I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see. So it's going to be a new serial publication from next month, Part 1. An odd birth. An odd upbringing. Can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh, yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled, I was fiddled by the pair of them. By Asman and by that aloof engineer Drebber. We're not going to have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we? Yeah, you've already dealt with one long-winded explanation from Strongheart at the start of this case. You can deal with one more, right? Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Asman, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning I realized... something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you are aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me. Oh, Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know. Barrick did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Barrick wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? It's hard to believe someone like him believing something of that type of nature. I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. Von Zyk's motivation. After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Barrick, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis to complete and utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Barrick insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He is an extremely kind-hearted soul. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea? I have a question. Mr. Asman, do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so empathetic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of an investment, actually. But the scale of it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very Okay, her book just phased into her chest. Or, not her chest, her stomach. She just absorbed it. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe. We're not in America. Why are you talking about pennies? It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Speaking of which, is he an engineer or a magician or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Asman first brought Drebber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist. Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us to his whereabouts? I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although just once. I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Drebber's enormous fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine. I'd say that's important. Why didn't you mention this before? Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. Well, tell us about that then. We need to go there. So you've been to Drebber's place of work then? Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place, plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance that we'll find Drebber there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure. As in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry. I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the whole way there. He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible, the pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. The indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formulae and use that instead. What do you think, Mrs. Sato? Add the machine for your next birthday. I've never used any kind of perfume, Miss Naruhodo, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. Susato is au naturel. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor. You don't have a business card for Mr. Drebber, for example. The man was very clearly cautious, Mr. Sato. I'm sure he would never... Aha! Yes, I do. He gave me his business card once. It's right here. Look. What? Let me see that. She's prepared to throw him. Throw etiquette to the window, why don't you? Yeah, while you throw the entire cell. Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address. No. Oh well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Shows only the man's name, there is no address. Let's check it. There might be someone on the back, you never know with this shit. Aha! It's dark smudge here. I think perhaps it's machine oil. Yes, possibly. Professor Harebrain mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said it was specially imported, very high-quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. He also said it was from France, which is very coincidental considering Gregson said he was going to France. Yes, that's right, but more importantly, that it's more fragrant than the finest perfume. So, excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. Don't worry, I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on here. There's a smear of machine oil on the back. I think I know what we're going to have to do last. Or at least next. Well, there's only 2 places left to go, and considering we found no one here, I assume next up is Madame Tuspel's. Oh, the old man's gone. Oh my, no wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I like to turn on my heels and go straight home, via the confectionery. Being scared makes you crave sweets? I can understand that. I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but... there's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere. Maybe you should look to the left instead of the right. That's strange. You should be here investigating the abduction of the waxwork. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Really? Are you sure about that? Yes, the heavy curtains in the middle of the House of Horrors. Whatever's on the other side of them, you just know it's going to be terrifying, don't you? The sign says it's the Madame Tuspel's special exhibit. It seems you have to pay extra to go inside. I know, can you believe that? Pay more money, as if we haven't already been scared enough. It's not my doing, Mr. Naruhodo. That old policeman isn't here now, obviously. Still can't believe he just happened to be on the jury, though. I'd understood that London has a population of 6 million people, and yet... You do seem to run into the same people disproportionately often, don't you? Yeah, this seems to be par for the course. Oh wow, Sholmes really isn't here. This one's posture reveals his weakness. Sorry? Of course. The killer's stance leaves him wide open to attack. I'm quite sure I could see him off. With the Susato takedown, the Susato squash, and finally Susato smash. Right. And if that doesn't render the culprit unconscious, the Susato slam should finish him. Susato's out here pulling an entire freaking driver combo on this dude. Susato slam? Oh, I'm sorry, it's rather hard to explain. Don't show, no, please no, example. Leave yourself open slightly and I'll demonstrate. Absolutely not. Huh? Ah, there's a stepladder there, look. Oh god. Oh, yes, a stepladder. I think perhaps we should let the proprietress know that someone's left it out. The stepladder, I mean. Don't fall for it, Ryunosuke. Is something wrong? Why do I feel as though I just managed to sidestep an argument? The top run is an achievement I just got. God damn it. I like that even in the spin-off they allow that running gag to be brought up to some extent. Oh, what a horrifying scene. A murderer caught in the grisly act. I know, and in case you were wondering, it's the one with the big knife that's supposed to be the killer. I don't think anybody would be in any doubt about that, surely. Did you know that according to the description, the bathtub at the back has no particular significance? What? Really? I would have thought it was meant to show that the killer also worked in a bathhouse peddling criminal wares. Aha, we have a new theory. Love this series. I guess there's nothing to do here, then. Well, let's see where else we can go. Let's head back to the forensics laboratory. Nothing here? Sholmes is sweet, maybe. We need to find Sholmes, so... Really? What to do? Do you know? What? I honestly thought I might never have the opportunity to return to Great Britain. And certainly not so soon. It's funny, for the past 6 months I haven't been able to work in court. Meanwhile, you've been raising a storm in the Supreme Court of Judicature back in Japan. Please, Mr. Naruhodo, I may have been dressed as a man, but it was a very reserved performance. So what your father said in this letter about a Ryutaro takedown is reserved? Well, anyway, I'm back here in this great capital now, and ready to assist you again in any way I can. So this means that Ryunosuke knows about Ryutaro Naruhodo. Does he have anything to say about her using his last name? Thank you, Mrs. Sato. It's my pleasure, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, that was a nice dialogue, but don't think it gets us any closer to the truth of anything. Nothing here. Do we miss anything in prison, maybe? Maybe this? Professor Harebrayne, what do you make of this? Just what we need to prove my hypothesis, isn't it? No, it's nothing to do with your hypothesis. Then take it away, I don't want to be bothered with anything that doesn't assist my science! Alright, keep your abundant hair on. Nope, nothing there. I'm just gonna have to spam through stuff till I find something. Nope. Oh well, we'll find something eventually. Okay, we're not gonna get anything from him. I'm gonna skip ahead till I figure out what we gotta do next. Decided that maybe presenting evidence to Gino would help with stuff, considering, you know, detective apprentice. Let's try giving her Dribber's card. About this, Gino. We actually did get something. Yeah, still learning me letters at the moment. Oh. I only know A to E, so if it ain't too much bleeding trouble. Actually, Gina, it's the back of the car that's important. Good lord. Eh? How come? There's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all. It turns out this is very high quality French machine oil. It has a very particular scent, apparently. You don't say. Let's have a whiff, then. We're gonna use Toby! That's what we're gonna do! You sure? I didn't smell nothing. No, we didn't mean that you should smell it. Oh my god, I wasn't even thinking about that. Oh my gosh, we're actually using good old little Toby, my little buddy. Oh, right. You mean Toby? Come here, boy. Mo! Adorable. His sense of smell is so good he can track people over the oceans, can he? Professor Harebrain informs us that this oil is unique to Mr. Drepper's workshop. Whoa! I think he's picked up a scent. So you mean, if he follows the scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy cove's workshop? That's right. That's exactly what we were hoping. Alright then, we'll give it a go. I'll just borrow that. What? Wait, when did you... What's a pickpocket? Fucking lead everyone to that Drepper's workshop. I'll be the boss's boss before next week. Oh yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted. Poor Gregson. Oh well. I mean, he's already been outclassed by Toby. That's just one more to add to the list. Right then, Edo, leave it to me. Sorry? We're gonna get going after that dodgy engineer cove right this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty here all the time. I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, Gina. Oh, right. Oh well, never mind. It ain't gonna be me what gets it in the neck, it'll be the boss. Poor Gregson again. Alright, little guy, let's get to work. Ready, Toby? Get that oil sand out. Got that oil sand, have ya? Come on then, boy. See you later. Bye, girl. Bye, Toby. I do hope the scent of that oil leads them to the swindler's workshop. I hope she brings backup of some type. I don't want anything to happen to either of the two of them. Yes, I hope so too. I don't know. If Drebber's trying to hide, then he might try to pull something if someone comes up to him. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. If no one's here on guard duty, can we now go up here? Better not try going up the stairs to the stage area now. If we were to bump into the forensic investigation team, it sounds like it could cause trouble. Alright. Well, I don't know what else to do then. I guess we'll just look around. Maybe we can go to Madame Tusswell's now? Nope. Forensic laboratory, maybe. Nope. Okay, well, skipping ahead again. I went back here and I realized that there is one small place that we can still check here. There's some type of diary or book here. Look at this big thick book here. Ah, it appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Also, I decided to come here because I was checking the move option, and it said that Susato said that we should spend some more time investigating here, so I decided to do that and go over it with a fine-tooth comb, and that's how I found this. Oh? What is it? It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... Well, one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scalpels every month. 500? They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses. I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances. And scalpel blades can be sharpened, too. It does seem a bit strange, you're right. 500 scalpels a month? What could they possibly be using all of them for? Huh. What are you doing? Ah! Had a feeling it was you. Sorry, we, had something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so... New music. So you thought you'd snoop around? That's acceptable to you people from the East, is it? Well, what do you want? Lord Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Asmund's body, I mean. So we came to ask you about your findings, on Lord Strongheart's advice. Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately. You're kinda hot, not gonna lie. What age are you? I don't want to feel bad. Okay, you're 39. I can say that. Also, wow, frickin' Enoch Drebber's frickin' portrait over here. Huh. 39. This dude's still being called Bohemian Boy is killing me. Alright. You know what? Let's do the same we always do. Dr. Seif, would you be good enough to take a look at this? Oh, you think I'm good enough, do you? No, I didn't mean... so I'm not good enough. In that case, why would you show me anything? Clearly you too good for me to show you anything again, ever. Right, let's converse. What are your findings? So, you want to know what the forensic investigation team determined from its examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Odi Asman, who disappeared from the experimentation stage amid an explosion. And the Mr. Asman who appeared moments later part way up the Crystal Tower, were without a question one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion. But that can't be right. If it was an elaborate trick, we could only speculate about how it was carried out. Let's see, if two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they? Very true, but sadly in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person. The fingerprints at the scene make that quite evident. Yeah. I had a bit of saliva come out of my mouth there. One sec, I had to wipe it away. Ah, fingerprints. They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system. But one day they will be used as an investigative aid as a matter of course. Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So, where does that leave us? My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible. And yet the body did move from one place to the other. This hasn't cleared anything up at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery. Huh, is that all? Huh. Whoa. Wait a second. Another character? Don't tell me it's the frickin' Bohemian kid. I only ask because it's the only child we know. Mama, what is it? Where does she spring from? Oh, is this a different person? Oh, this is, isn't it? And did she just call the doctor Mama? Oh, this is a different character. I thought that it was the last lady put in... Oh yeah, they have a very obvious different outfit. Sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, I thought it was the other lady put on a mask, and then I looked at literally everything else on her outfit and realized it was a different person. This is a lawyer, dear. Oh. hello. To meet you. Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mama? Yes. Can I cut this one up? What? Oh. I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like. Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see. Boring. Who the heck are you? I think I just had a near-death experience. Oh dear, Mr. Naruhodo, you're as pale as a corpse. Then let's leave before I'm mistaken for one. Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can there for now. If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber. I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point? We have things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months. Yeah, I want to see him too, that's for sure. Yes, it's quite possible he might know something useful, you're right. We ought to find him at Madame Tuspel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit. Yes, Iris told me all about his latest unusual venture. Huh, I wonder who that other girl is. Guess we'll have to wait until later to figure that out. Let's head to Madame Tuspel's. Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxworks. Should be here somewhere. Here we are again at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't gotten used to the place yet. And it has this spooky music. I'd still like to turn on my heels and go straight home, via the confectionery, of course. Sada-san really is after something sweet today, isn't she? We'll just go see little Toby then, because he's so adorable. Eek! What's the matter? Look, Mr. Naruhodo, look at that waxwork. I'm quite sure it wasn't there before. I wonder who it could be. There he is. Looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes down in the very last detail. Aha. What is it? Oh, sorry. I think you'll find... That's a temporary waxwork himself. Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee. Oh, yes. Hello again. It's Ryunosuke... It's Ryunosuke. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I must say I'm quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs. You don't mean... But yes, the mystery is solved already. Wow, Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough. So as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties. Yes. His habitual duties? Hello. Do not disturb. Poor Susato-san, she looks very perplexed. Huh. Yo, sorry, but we're going to ignore what she said and disturb you. We really do need to speak with Mr. Sholmes, and I am longing to say hello again. But where is he? Oh my god. I am punishing you for your ignorance, Miss Susato. I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually. Oh! Where do you... Indeed, my dear fellows, 'tis I. The world-famous great detective and waxwork Herlock Sholmes. She fainted! Susato-san! Susato-san! Snake! 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 Ow. Ah. Hurt my throat on that one. My most humble apologies.
I thought I'd died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment, via London.
My dear madame, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. As long as it's not of questionable street food quality.
I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes?
Because I am broke at AF. Merely a secret identity, you understand, though the case is largely solved now.
Largely solved?
We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume. Indeed we are, my dear fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess I'm yet to partake of a pie, proverbial or otherwise, or any food so far today for that matter. You would think you'd just be able... Oh. I didn't know there was a pig in here. That stomach rumble echoed around the whole museum. So how did you manage to solve it so quickly? Ah, well, do remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone?
Oh yes, it's a most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet.
Huh. This morning a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end the waxwork was returned.
That's amazing. What's it look like?
Just between you and I. It would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event.
Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible demanded a ransom, no?
Yes, I think perhaps. The ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive.
But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary?
The fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame Tuspel's at all costs. Otherwise I won't get paid. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street after all.
Did I say streak? Poor Iris. I thought, isn't Iris paid more than you though? Then again, she hasn't been able to publish a few stories.
Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork?
Oh, you bet we do, buddy. An Octreber. We're in the process of trying to track somebody down.
Oh?
Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Trevor. Sorry, I just really needed to yawn. I had to skip. He's the swindler who duped Professor Hairbrain and the engineer who built the kinesis machine.
A swindler and an engineer. Quite the modern man.
He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have so few clues to go on. That's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas?
I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of a man's appearance at least, I may be in a better position to help.
Yes, Trevor's appearance.
Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I shall gladly give you my thoughts on it.
Well, we'll do that right now, might as well. You know? Oh, I have to do the present button, duh. Mr. Sholmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print? It's of Mr. Enoch Drebber, the face of the engineer we seek.
Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course, so looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive.
Oh, you're right, Mr. Sholmes. He knows them, doesn't he?
Yes, forgive me. Very interesting this, very interesting indeed.
Great. Sholmes is hiding even more from us.
What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden.
Well, let's talk about Kazuma's death now. Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us?
My dear Mr. Naruhodo, stay that piercing glare. What is this about?
Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship, your words were very clear.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder.
You told us that it was a murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body.
Indeed, and wherein lies the problem?
We met him earlier today, the victim, Kazuma Asogi. What do you gotta say, man?
You're quite sure?
He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure it was Kazuma-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead.
Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere of the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all. Priceless.
Yeah, he's definitely hiding shit. He's trying to keep us off the trail by laughing it off and being like, "Oops, I'm a dumbass." Haha. But we know that's not the truth.
I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruhodo?
I could believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake. But not you, Mr. Sholmes. How are you gonna get out of this one, buddy? What's gonna bail you out? Is Madame Tuspel's gonna be like, oh, you need to get back to work.
I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that.
Please, Mr. Sholmes.
Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me?
Oh, well, what is it?
As I explained to you when we arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned, and I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains.
Oh yes, the professor exhibit, isn't it?
Would you like to see it for mere 5 shillings? That's a special one-time only price, you understand.
What? I actually do want to see it, just out of curiosity, because something's nagging at my mind.
The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor?
Oh, well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone?
The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it well worth it.
I think he's trying to hint at something here. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes?
Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if this is seriousness or silliness.
I can never tell with you. That's the point.
Very well, it couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings.
At least it's not coming out of Rinosuke's paycheck.
Gratefully received. So the special exhibit awaits the curtain. Behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure.
And before it's like Enoch Drebber or something. If it is, I'm gonna frickin'... I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Well, the money's been sent, so let's go and see the special exhibition.
I swear if it's him. Through those heavy curtains at last. I swear to God. Are we... Oh, we have to examine it. 5 shillings we've had to pay. Doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it?
No. We could ask Gina to retrieve it for us using her special skills.
Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. Is that what makes Britain great? Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands or chip-living inspectors.
Inspector Gregson comes off rather well on that list, I think.
Oh, right. Well, let's see what's behind it. Was I right? Was I wrong?
Wait, it's its own place?
What in the shit?
Oh dear, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here.
Mr. Sato, I say we turn our heels and go straight home via a really big confectionery.
We certainly can't do that. We paid 5 shillings already.
True. Actually, now I'm looking a little more closely. We've paid good money to see an exhibition that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place.
This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved.
So the head's still missing. Be that as it may. Mr. Sholmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? But where? God, I swear, if the frickin' head that's supposed to be on this thing is Anna Kadreber. Since we've paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we?
Yes, we will get what we paid for.
Is that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san's voice tremble? Ah, damn it. You know, we can only examine shit. Let's get it out of the way. Let's see if... I'm gonna make this episode a bit of a long one. Because I feel like we can't have too much more stuff to do, you know? First, examine this.
This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real.
Seems to be a young man in a white overcoat. And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Look. Sorry, that was Susato. Perhaps we should investigate in a little more detail. Oh, shoot. The heck?
What a large shovel. He's holding it rather ominously, isn't it?
It feels weird doing these 360 things and not having it be part of a deduction. What on earth was the man doing with the shovel in his graveyard in the middle of the night?
Mrs. Sato?
Yes?
That's a spade is... Oh my god.
No, it's a shovel.
No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
We've been through this, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a shovel.
No. Although, we haven't considered trowels.
We're ending this right here. We've allowed ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Perhaps we should concentrate on what the man was doing with the implement.
So we're going to bury the hatchet. You're right, though. With what the man was doing in the graveyard in the first place, that's a real question. I'm instinctively looking to see if there's any type of thing on... I'm instinctively looking to see if there's any type of thing on the cane because of case 1-5. It's quite a large lamp the man's carrying. Or is it a lantern? It's not unlike a Japanese chochin paper lantern, actually, is it?
Lamp, lantern, chochin... The point is it casts very little light. To be walking alone in a graveyard at night with only this... Well, I certainly couldn't do it.
I'm not sure I could visit a graveyard at all, even in broad daylight, to be honest. And last thing. What's this here?
Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so... I believe it's probably a camera.
A camera? But it's so small. British technology is incredible, isn't it? And what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints?
I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera?
I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film.
Nah, no one would ever do something that stupid. We'll just borrow this for a little while, I think.
Camera?
By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what picture is taken.
What's a photographic plate?
It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming in through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's take a look.
You should see yourself, Hisada-san. Your eyes are shining.
Kire, kire.
You really do like machinery, don't you? I think that's everything. Alright. I think the only thing left to examine is... You know what? No, let's check this first. Press the button. Oh, that's a latch. Never mind. Oh, look, the cover came open.
Yes, now there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see.
Something wrong?
There is no plate. It's been removed.
Ah, what a pity. But I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be an actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. So we never found a photographic print of the executed convict coming back to life anyway.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're quite right, of course.
Poor Hisada-san, she looks devastated. Alright, well that's that.
This must be the killer. The fiend known as the Professor.
Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Tuspel said. He killed 5 victims, all of noble or royal blood.
The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place.
I know. It looks like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only it had a head, that is. It could be like a headless horseman, I guess. Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. I mean, there's literally nothing besides the head, isn't there? I don't see anything, at least.
So this is the condemned man.
Yes, the so-called professor.
Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine?
Oh, sorry, was that Ryunosuke?
Oh no, it was Susato. But unable to find peace, he emerged from this grave as a headless ghost.
Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Miss Susato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see?
Then perhaps Mr. Sholmes absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it.
That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it? Yeah, but it does match Sholmes, wouldn't you say?
Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum.
And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? I would think so. Well, whatever the reason, it means we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looks like, do we? Oh. Something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. Oh. It looks like a piece of broken glass. And quite a big piece, too. Oh my god. This is the body swap. It's gotta have the head of Odiasmin, doesn't it? It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than normal window glazing, I'd say. Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder?
I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength?
But why?
Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as in a big building, for example.
Well, we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? And some of the glass is broken too.
You don't mean...
Exactly, the Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition.
But why would glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside this waxwork's jacket?
Makes you think, doesn't it? Oh shit. Earlier in court, we established that the kinesis machine was a trick, and now we discover this fragment of glass here on this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence? Somehow I doubt that. Is that everything? Anything else? No. No, 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 no. Let me check something. Nope. It's not the same outfit, at least.
This piece of glass is almost as thick as it is wide. Yes, I've never seen anything like it. If you were to compare it to a human, only Mr. Sholmes has such thick skin.
There's really no need for such a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know. Anyway, it can only be from the Crystal Tower, surely. Yes, I think so too. It was probably made especially to meet the demands of that great structure. I want to say we're done here. Eh? I didn't examine the front of this, maybe. Oh, we can. Oh shit, I'm glad I did. What a wonderful machine. You really love contraptions like this, don't you? Oh yes, anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible. Almost irresistible, surely. Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart. That's worrying. Yes, Father tells the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up having to watch. Poor Professor Mikotoba. Well, I think it's obvious to say what we have to look at here. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? On the bellows just here, there seems to be some very dark red stains. Yes, you're right. Looks like blood, actually. Oh my. I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. Oh, shit. Okay. Anything else in this? White of coat. Here. I can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just... Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo? I'll manhandle what I damn well please, Susato. I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. Oh, what are we doing here? Oh. We actually had to examine that. Odiasmin? Ah! What on earth? How can...
I don't believe it. A black monocle.
Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is... Yes. It's Enoch Drebber. Why'd I say Odiasmin? Holy shit. It's actually him. Though he looks way younger here. I mean, I guess if he was a witness if he was a witness to something related to the professor, that would make a lot of sense. Huh. The color of his hair is different, but it's unmistakably him. Holy shit. Indeed it is. Mr. Sholmes. This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. That he is. And we'll have to figure out as to why he's here next time on Great Ace Attorney 2. Holy shit. This case just keeps getting better and better with every single turn. Next time on Great Ace Attorney 2, we're gonna figure out what the hell's going on, and maybe we'll actually go to see where Drebber is. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, mata ne.